Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Baseline Facetime podcast. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Baseline Facetime podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Troy, with my other co-host.
I'm back from vacation, guys.
Oh, how was vacation, bro?
It was not really a vacation.
Not a vacation.
Yeah.
Just a week off.
It was a staycation.
That's right, a staycation. Not like there's anywhere to go, really, because, COVID and whatnot. You're not even allowed to leave New York, hardly. But happy to have you back, man.
Feels good to be back, bud.
And we've got an exciting episode planned today. As always, any inquiries, hit us up on Baseline Facetime Podcast at Gmail. Follow us on Baseline Facetime Podcast on Instagram. Hit us up there.
Yep, and also,
can't
forget, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Please do that, please.
Smash it.
Because we want people to see us on their homepage.
That's right. That's right. So, the playoffs are 99.5% set. Right now, as we are podcasting, we've got the Blazers and the Memphis Grizzlies game one to see who can get in with those playing games. Of course, if Memphis wins today, they're actually in the fourth quarter right now, close one. If they win today, they play again tomorrow to see who gets that 8th spot to match up with the Lakers. But in today's episode, largely what we are going to be doing is a Western Conference playoffs preview. All right, so we're excited to walk through every first-round matchup, even give some predictions for you, even give some things to watch for, some things to look out for as we even go as far as predicting who's going to represent the West in the finals.
Right, and as me and Troy did this, we don't know what the other person predicted. We wanted to keep it a secret, so that way, we get live reactions and see how you guys feel about it, too.
That's right.
So I don't know what's on his paper. He doesn't know what's on mine.
That's right. We'll see what happens there. And then, so today is Saturday. The reason we decided to not do our regular Thursday night recording is because the playoffs are now set. So the regular season technically ended yesterday, Friday the 14th. Today's the 15th of August, and playoffs start on Monday. We're actually going to do an Eastern Conference preview on Monday. And so we've got 2 previews coming up of both conferences ahead of the playoff start, so we're excited about that. Let's get into just some general bubble news and what's been going on.
Bubble news, I hope you're not a vegan because we got some beef.
The beef, so who?
So apparently, I know very little about it because unfortunately I haven't been able to keep up with the games, but I haven't seen it on social media. So inform me on things that I've been missing. Apparently, what was it? It was Paul George and Dame Dollar Sign, right?
Yep.
That they were beefing, and apparently Dame Dollar Sign's little sister got involved. Paul George's wife got involved. Please elaborate. What's going on, Troy?
So there was beef just in that game, along with Pat Beverly getting his 2 cents in there. Go figure.
Right. They were taunting on the bench.
So they matched up with each other. There was taunting going on. Lillard went to the line, I believe, with 2 free throws to tie the game. Mm-hmm. He misses both.
Really?
Damian Lillard misses both.
Very surprising.
Exactly. And it's on the Clippers side of the court, and Patrick Beverly's just giving it to him on the bench. I don't even think Beverly suited up that game, but he's just giving it to him. And there was just a lot of beef involved. And then it took to social media with Paul George getting involved, his wife getting involved. And, I think some of what happened was Lillard, kind of saying, well, I sent him home before, talking to Paul George, I sent him home before. And then Beverly.
It was OKC, right?
Yeah, and then the other 2 got involved from the Clippers, and we're like, well, we're going to send you home this year, or, get your bags ready for Cancun, because that's where you're heading soon, because,
That's hilarious.
Obviously with the Clippers being a much better team. And, then they got involved, and it was a mess. Apparently they've kind of cleaned things up, but a little beef involved there. I think Paul George is a little salty. Whose side are you taking in that? What are your thoughts on the 2 of them in particular?
It's very easy to talk trash when you're up on the cards, but the real trash talk starts when it's 0-0. And Patrick Beverly, I like him. He's a great defensive player, and he could run his mouth. But at the same time, if you're not playing, don't talk. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about it. Because, say what you want. Damian Lillard has by far a way better career than you. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're
what about Paul George, though? The 2 of them?
When I think of it that way, if I'm taking PG, I'm going to take PG before the injury, before he injured himself.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can see that.
I'm going to go with the point guard. I'm going to start with Dame Dollar Sign.
Yeah, man. And I would take Dame, too, just because, I like him more personally, a little bias in there. And then another big thing with the beef was Lillard calling out Mainly George, but I think Beverly a little bit too. He was like, you guys go out there chasing rings instead of staying in one spot. Like, and that's something Lillard has really hung his hat on over the years, is how he is loyal to the soil. Shout out to one of his songs, actually.
Loyal to the soil.
Loyal to the soil, one of his songs on one of his albums. And he's just loyal to Portland, and they love him there. And
he's got an old school mentality.
Yeah.
One thing that's very weird is the society in the NBA. I feel like it's a weird term. There's a better word for it. Just the culture. That's better. Mm-hmm. The culture of the NBA is it's not okay to ring chase in your prime, but once you're over the hill, it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's socially acceptable to ring chase once you're like Carmelo Anthony or somebody who's a little seasoned.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I'm not with the whole ring chasing. Are you?
No. Okay. I think that's another reason to support Lillard even more, because of what he's doing and what he stands for. And we'll see if he stays in Portland for forever. We'll see what happens there. But
arguably,
definitely called Paul George out. I mean, in the last 2 years, Paul George has gone and teamed up with Russell in OKC. That didn't work out. Then he left
East to get away from LeBron.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
How much of a coward
and now he's got to share a city with him. Now he's got to share a arena with him in the Staples Center. So just kind of interesting beef going on there. And I don't know if you saw what Damian Lillard did after that, after the Clippers got on him, after he kind of blew the game in a sense. The very next game, they played the Sixers. I knew it was going to be ugly because Damian Lillard was mad and they needed wins. He went out. He dropped 51.
Right.
Next game,
50
61.
Oh.
Absolutely nuts. Then the next game, 42. All big games, all needed, from Dame to see if they can get into the playoffs, and they did on their last regular season game against the Brooklyn Nets. And so interesting stuff going on there. I don't know if you saw, but the bubble first team was announced, I believe, today. And Lillard came in at the MVP. No surprise there for the 8 games in the bubble. Devin Booker leading his team to an 8-0 bubble.
Sun's not even in the playoffs,
and yet sent home. And then Luka, James Harden, and T.J. Warren. We know what he has been able to do in the bubble.
We'll talk about that T.J. Warren stuff because I have a theory on it, but we'll get there.
Oh, boy, okay. And we know Indiana's, they're in the playoffs, and T.J. Warren's definitely the hot hand there. So interesting stuff. I think it was, I think Dame was the unanimous bubble MVP. Pretty cool stuff there.
I mean, think about the monstrous performance he put up 3 games. It's unanimous.
Yep. And again, just to get in the playoffs. I mean, he did this, treating everything like a Game 7. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good mentality to have.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what they went in 8 games, but it came down to their 8th game. If they lost, they were out. So.
I'm curious if Damian Lillard decided, if I really want a ring, and this is like maybe next season or something, all right? I don't know when his contract's up or what his contract looks like. Where do you think he would fit best?
Lakers.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking it too. I just didn't want to say it.
I mean,
it seemed narcissistic.
A guard like him.
Yeah.
Think about that trio if they could somehow pull that off.
I don't remember. You know what's so funny? At one point, I heard rumors that Russell Westbrook was going to go to the Lakers. This was like last before. Yeah. This is like but I would definitely take like Damian Lillard any day of the week. Yeah. But yeah, how do you feel about what they just released today?
The
Pretty
first
accurate,
team,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was pretty cool how they even did that. The Suns coach Monty Williams got coach of the bubble for going 8-0. Again, props to the Suns. I want to get your take on that. Like, what do you think about the Suns? Were they able to prove anything? Do they have some respect in your book? Like, how do you feel about what they were able to accomplish?
You know how like we make fun of the Knicks for never getting rings? I think they're slowly but surely gonna get there, because like it's hard to be a Suns fan because they haven't been good since like the Amari Stoudemire and like Steve Nash days, and I think Shaq was there at one point, but Shaq was over the hill. So it's like, what can we do as an organization to win championships? Because they haven't been in the discussion since like the mid 2000s. Mm-hmm. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. So it's like, first off, what I would do is if I was owner of the Suns, I would trade Devin Booker, give him a shot at an actual championship, and get like a draft pick. That's what I would do. Because like it's the only logical sense. They
need to trade D-Book?
I would trade D-Book. Yeah, because I want
23.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Can I be real with you? I thought he was older. I thought he was 26.
he feels older.
Well, he already scored 70.
Because he's been in the league so long. And
wait, so how old was he when he scored 70 on the Boston Celtics?
22.
Really?
He spent 1 year at Kentucky, left.
Wow.
I know. Well, just for what he's been able to accomplish already, yeah. But still, like,
either is he loyal to the soil?
Yeah, he is. He signed a contract recently. I think either get him out or or really, of course, really commit to building around him. They've got some good young talent. DeAndre Ayton has played well lately. Mikal Bridges has really been one of those role players I know you wanted to talk about, showing out in the bubble and what they were able to do. They got a young bench as well. Ricky Rubio at the point. So yeah, what else has stuck out to you, even just with some role players getting a chance? We're looking at one right there in Gary Trent Jr.
So this is a hot take, and hot takes normally cause a little like things with it. I'm not a doctor, right? So I'm basing this off of like experience and stuff like this. Have you shot? You've played at like at night or basketball, right? Like playing in the dark, something like that. And you play during the day, right? Mm-hmm. So our eyes are adjusting. So if you look at the arena that they're in, right, black background, okay. So now compare that to like at a big arena where it's filled and there's many layers and depth is farther away. So now I think depth perception is playing a big role where it's. You could because you could see like NBA players with workouts, right? They always look so impressive in the workouts, but when they get into the actual game, it's like a little too much for them, and they don't perform as well. So I think what depth perception is playing a little role on how well people are shooting, and especially from behind the three. So I think this season we're gonna see an inflating of 3-pointers, like same amount of attempts being made, just a percentage of it actually going in more, and. Most importantly, I think since there are no fans and no crowds, I think the role players are feeling more comfortable out there, and I think it's building their confidence. Like what was his name? T.J. Warren dropped 50 on. Dropped 50 on the Sixers, and I think we're gonna see what players are really made of.
Yeah.
After this, if he deserves like a bigger contract or if he deserves the credit that he deserves, because once you're back in the arena like the way that it should be, we're gonna see what you're really made of when the crowd's booing you and it's hostile. Because it's really, they don't have that there.
Yeah, and even to your point about shooting, I mean, there has been talk, even entering the bubble, guys, known shooters were like, this is a good arena for shooters to shoot in. And I was like, okay, like it's not going to make that big a difference. And it has, because, I mean, I don't know how many games we've obviously seen Lillard drop 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like threes in a game. We've seen other guys do that. We've seen Lillard's teammate, Gary Trent Jr., another role player, get hot from 3. There's been a lot of big shooting games from guys in the bubble, even some guys you wouldn't expect. And to your point, I mean, T.J. Warren is, and he has been a respected guy in the league for a while. Again, he's not superstar level, but he's a guy who will give you 16, 17, 18. I think this year 18 or 19
he is playing superstar level now.
Exactly. And just what he's been able to do, and for Indiana, I mean, coming out the gate hot, we'll see what they will be able to do. But that's enough for that. Let's get into the playoffs. The playoffs are finally here.
Playoffs.
Let's preview some matchups. Let's talk about it. Again, Western Conference preview episode today. We're going to give our thoughts, share our predictions, and see what's going to happen there. So let's break this down a little bit. So first round matchups in the West, we have the Lakers coming at the 1 seed, and again, going to face either the Portland Trailblazers or the Memphis Grizzlies at the 8. The 4-5 matchup featuring the Thunder and the Rockets, the Nuggets and the Jazz in the 3-6 to play the winner of the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. So those round out our first round matchups. Let's dive into one. You want to start with the Lakers?
No, I'm going to let you start off with it because I have no idea what's on your paper and I'm dying to know.
All right, so let's start out with the Lakers. Let's just talk about this potential matchup. I think we're both in agreement that if they were to face the Portland Trailblazers, it would be a little more of a challenge than the Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yep. And so, we'll see who gets in. There's 3 minutes to go. The Trailblazers are down 1 right now. Again, if Memphis wins today, they will play again tomorrow on Sunday the 16th. The one thing about the matchup, so I'm going to say Portland's going to get in. Okay. The one thing about a potential Trailblazers matchup with the Lakers, and I think Dave, who was our guest on the last show, kind of touched on it, the Lakers don't have great defensive guards.
Yeah.
And who are the best players on the Trailblazers? What position do they play?
Shooting guard and point.
See? So they would have trouble with C.J. McCollum and, of course, Damian Lillard. That's an intriguing matchup.
It is, but I mean, you could always depends on how you want to go about it. There's many ways you could execute it, how well it would actually pan out is the real thing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, since you picked that, how long do you think the series is going to be?
So I think, and I see, and I'll talk as to why I see this. I'm not taking the Trailblazers, but I am going to take Lakers in 6. So Trailblazers getting 2 is what I'm going to say.
Oh, we have the same exact thing.
So Trailblazers getting 2 of those, and that's coming from one Lakers fan, you, and not a Lakers fan, and me, a big Damian Lillard fan. The reason I foresee that, and one big thing, Lillard and how he's been balling, but 2, I think on a team standpoint, since the Lakers have gotten to the bubble, none of these games have mattered.
Yeah.
They were in at the 1 seed. It didn't really matter. We had guys sitting out. We had this and that. But over these 8 games, perhaps none of these games have mattered more to any team than the Portland Trailblazers. They have been do-or-die mode since they got here, and that's why I think just coming in, maybe they steal game 1. Maybe they take 1 out of 2 or 3. Just coming in with that mindset that this isn't new to them. The Lakers are going to have to really turn it on for the first time coming into this game. The Trailblazers have been in that playoff mode for a while. So that's why I see the Trailblazers possibly getting 2 out of 6. And I think it's going to be an intriguing series. We'll see how well the Lakers guards can match up. Again, not having Avery Bradley is a huge loss for them.
That is a big loss for us. I like how we did agree on the same amount of games it's going to take, and the Lakers advancing. And I know you, not being a Dame Dollar Sign fan, that's hard to admit. I will say this, though, and you are right. They've been in fight now mode, so I think it'll be a good thing for the Lakers to get adjusted to early on because they've been cruising. And let's face it, what is home court advantage? There is no home court advantage.
Yeah.
What, the little logo to indicate whose home it is? That's ridiculous. But I think, did the Portland Trailblazers play the Lakers at all? No, right?
In the bubble?
In the bubble.
No.
No, okay.
Oh, my, CJ McCollum. All right, looks like the Trailblazers are going to move on, barring a last-minute comeback from the Grizzlies. CJ just put like 2 or 3 buckets in a row.
Yep, and it's now 119 to 113 in about 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock.
Hey, so we got one pick, right?
Yeah, we did. No, I think we have a very big lineup, and we could play some bully ball.
Yeah.
Because we're a very big team, and most importantly, Hassan Whiteside's there, but Hassan Whiteside doesn't. He's too afraid to be big.
Yep.
I feel like that's the vibe he gives me.
Nurkic isn't afraid to be big, but they have outside of him. It's hard. Outside of him, it's hard.
He's tough. Nurkic is tough.
He's put up 20 and 20 today. Oh. But again, with the size, I mean, you're talking about a team that has, for the most part, and they'll go a little smaller, but for the most part, AD's playing power forward, and they have someone else even bigger than him getting the boards and things like that. So, I mean, the Lakers could have a little trouble here, again, with the guards, but we both foresee the Lakers moving on.
Well, that was the problem with the Dream Team, right? So Chuck Daly and the Dream Team he was the coach of it, so the first thing he wanted to get in their heads was that the probability of them losing.
Mm-hmm.
So he matched them up. He obviously messed with the substitutions, but basically, where was I going with this? You ever have that where you just lose your train of thought?
Always.
So the one weakness that the Dream Team had was quick guards. Uh-huh. But as long as we play bully ball, we'll be fine. That's where I'm going to go with it.
All right, we'll see what happens there. We'll move on to the next one. So, Thunder, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets, a very intriguing matchup.
I want to know how many games you put for this.
In my mind. So give me something to watch for in this matchup before we get to the prediction. What are you looking for?
In this matchup?
Yeah.
First off, you brought to my attention Russell Westbrook might not be playing for the first round.
Yep, he at least a couple games they're thinking he's going to miss. At least, yeah.
So it's OKC. I guess they have a height advantage, realistically. Other than that, I don't really see anything else. I mean, Chris Paul is a phenomenal point guard, but Chris Paul doesn't have any rings. He's been in the league for a while. It's not looking like a playoff trip is coming true for him.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did this, I was thinking of it logically. They have Harden, Russell Westbrook, but might not be playing. But they have Mike D'Antoni, who knows how to get at least to the Western Conference or second round. So I'm giving it Houston Rockets 4 games, and OKC's only going to win 1, so 5.
Okay. So the Rockets in 5 is your prediction there. I think just obviously something, elephant in the room, something to watch out for is Russell Westbrook matching up with his former team in the Thunder, and then Chris Paul matching up with
I feel like
James
that would
Harden
be
and the
more
Rockets
played up
again.
if they were in the arenas.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree
Other than
with
that, I don't really see it playing a big role within the bubble.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah,
How do
this
you
was
feel
one I
about
went a little back and forth with. And I think depending on how long Russell Westbrook is out is big. That plays a big role in this. I went Rockets as well, but I went in 7.
Really? You think it's
did.
going to be dragged out that much?
I did. And I was a toss-up between 6 and 7. And then the reason I went with 7 is because of the unknown with Russell Westbrook there. So, and again, the Thunder are someone that's been slept on all year. They're a team that came in given really no shot at making the playoffs, a rebuilding time. Chris Paul was like, probably dreading that he was going to come here and like all this stuff. And they've proven teams wrong, time and time again. They've got him. They've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They've got Gallinari who can fill it up. Again, Steven Adams, who's a big boy down there, and he's going to dominate on the glass against the Rockets, who don't really play a center. It's an interesting matchup, of course, but we're both kind of in agreement.
I think you're right, and I'm not ashamed to admit
Closer to 6 or 7.
Yeah, because I completely forgot about Steven Adams, and especially since they're smaller, that could be problematic.
Maybe go 6 there.
Unless James Harden's lights out the whole entire time.
Yeah, and he could be. He could be. So, interesting match there. All right, so let's move on to the next first-round matchup. Again, we're going to go through the whole playoffs, and that's pretty much our episode today. Mm-hmm. So, Denver Nuggets at the 3, Utah Jazz at the 6.
Yeah, this was a very hard thing for me to call because I don't have a horse in this race for this game realistically because I don't either like either location, and most importantly, I don't know much about their obviously I know who's on the teams, but like I don't really. It's hard for me to not be biased because I don't really care for them. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I went with Denver is gonna take it in advance, and it's going to be a 6-game series, and they're gonna beat Utah.
Okay,
that's where I'm looking at it.
Yeah, this is one thing about this matchup, and I've watched both these teams play a little bit in the bubble.
First off, who do you think is more impressive in the bubble?
Denver,
right?
Denver, and that's because of these kind of sleeper players. Under the radar players that are stepping up. In Bol, we've seen the highlights of him taking rebounds, going up for a pull-up 3 at 7 foot, whatever. Just crazy stuff. Michael Porter Jr., who was on the second team all bubble in the 8 games, he's stepped up in a big way. He's played better in the bubble than perhaps he has, throughout the regular season, in the past. And so, and then of course they got Jokic and the new look Jokic looking a little lighter. They've got decent guards and Murray and the team. I mean they're pretty solid. But the Jazz
they're still pretty
team
tough
as well. The Jazz are So the Jazz obviously with Gobert and Mitchell, little inter squad beef there, but I think they'll get past it.
No, is it safe to say that they have a big 3 though? Because they do have Michael Conley.
So they do have Mike Conley, who's that veteran that they could use. Yeah. Oh my, Carmelo just hit a shot to pretty much move the Blazers on. So yeah, that Mike Conley's good. Mike Conley might be a key in that, and that's the reason I'm going to take the Jazz. I'm going to take the Jazz in this one. In 7. These teams have been kind of close all year in the standings. I'm going to take the Jazz in 7. All right, last but not least, in terms of first round, we've got the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Dallas Mavericks.
Now, this is interesting. The reason why is there's an X factor. Not really X factor, but his name is Luka Doncic. That's the big problem. Is he's such an offensive threat, even though the Clippers are they're primarily defense. Let's be real. They're a great defensive team, but Luka's just on another level right now. And obviously let's be real. Clippers are advancing. Yeah. Let's get that out of the way right now. So I have them.
Games, yeah.
I have them in 6 games. Okay. What do you have them at?
So I had them in 5.
Really?
I could see 6, just because of Luka and because of Porzingis, the way he's been playing. They got some shooters on that team. They got some leaders.
Is Seth Curry on that team?
Yeah. Who's been balling out.
Makes sense.
It's tough. We'll see how well Luka plays. I said 5, but I think it's the talent level and just even the bench scoring, the bench production of the Clippers. I mean, I don't see how Dallas can keep up.
They would have to. Luka would have to keep putting on a monster performance every single game for the span of 7 games, and that's just not possible.
Yeah, now he's got to deal with Kawhi and PG and Pat Bev or whoever is going to go
and this
near
is
him.
his first playoff run, right?
Yeah.
So let's be real. Like, he's not. Welcome to the playoffs, kid. That's, hopefully for next year for you.
Yep. But the Clippers are good. I mean, they obviously have the potential to go all the way, and we'll talk about that. Yeah. All right, ready to move on to the next round?
Round 2.
So round 2, we both up at the top. We both have the Lakers and the Rockets, correct?
Yeah, we do.
All right, so let's dive into that. Kind of the same thing. The way I'm treating that series is the guard defense of the Lakers. I mean, so you go from, again, this is a weakness of the Lakers, and they're going to have to face it 2 rounds in a row. You go from Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum to Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
You brought something to my attention like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Bully ball.
Yeah.
The Houston Rockets are just too damn small.
I remember we talked about this matchup.
They are just so small to the point where if you have a guy like Anthony Davis, you have no choice to double team him.
Yeah.
And even then, you still have a monster like JaVale McGee who's going to slam it down on you.
Yep.
So, are 2s greater than 3s? Yeah. But you have to make those 3s.
Unless the Rockets are hot. Yeah, exactly. You got to make them.
But
if they're on, they're on. There's nothing you can do. And that's why I have the Rockets getting 2 in that series. Potentially, I could see that series going 7, actually. But I'm going to go 6.
That's 4 and 3, right?
Yep. I'm going 6.
I went 7 games.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So
bully ball prevails in the end on your side.
Yeah.
Again, if Harden is unstoppable, I mean, he is. When he wants to be and when he's on, there's literally nothing you can do.
If he could incorporate his team, because I remember one time in the playoffs he was running just pick and roll offense, and it's very predictable in the playoffs.
And he's had some issues in the playoffs in the past, but the dude is one of the best scorers we have ever seen. Just won his 3rd straight scoring title. Yeah.
The step back he does. Mm-hmm. He created a new step back where it's 2 steps. Have you seen this?
Yeah, it's like
is
2,
that
3,
legal?
4 step. Nah, apparently. Shouldn't be.
I don't think it should be legal at all.
Everyone gets away with it, though, and he's mastered it. He's introduced it on a whole new level. You're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that could potentially be a good series. That'd be one I'm definitely excited to watch because, again, there's a difference.
Lakers are kryptonite big versus kryptonite. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
It's who's going to...
what's going to prevail?
It's who exploits the other person's weakness better. That's basically what it is.
Yep. I agree with that. So, we both got the Lakers moving on, and then we have a difference. I'll just give my take on a potential Utah Clippers matchup. You can do it with the Nuggets and the Clippers.
Right.
For me, in that matchup, if that were to happen, it comes down to firepower that the Clippers have and that the Jazz simply don't have. You got Donovan Mitchell.
They don't have a bench.
Yeah, and you got Donovan Mitchell, who's one guy that can kind of sort of take over a game, but the Clippers have 5 of those guys who can go out and get 20+, maybe 30+. And just the firepower there and, the wherewithal of those veterans, those leaders on the Clippers to get it done. So I'm going to say Clippers in 5 to move to the Western Conference Finals with a matchup with the Lakers. Go figure. We've talked about that before, too. What's your take?
So my take on this is it's going to be... It's so sad because when I did this, I didn't even put... I have to count in my head 4, 5, 6. It's going to be the LA Clippers, no question about it. Mm-hmm. They're going to beat Denver, and it's only going to be a 6-game series.
Okay, 6.
Yeah, I think that's about fair. That's giving the Clippers an advantage. No, not Clippers an advantage. That's giving Denver a benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. I think they could be easily just discarded, even though they have Jokic and their role players are stepping up. They're still the Clippers. Defense always wins championships. Let's be real. I mean, that was the whole reason the 2008 Celtics beat the Lakers was because they were just more tougher and they were nastier and meaner. Mm-hmm. And especially if you got Pat Beverly just yelling in somebody's ear the whole entire time. That makes it very hard.
Yeah.
And especially a Kawhi guy like Kawhi who's just dominating you the whole game. Mm-hmm. It's too much. I think the Denver Nuggets are just going to collapse. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, even some you mentioned just now is those role players for the Nuggets can't maybe having a factor in the fact that you're saying 6 games just because of the way they've been able to step up in that way. Something we've talked about on previous episodes is, are we destined for an LA matchup in the Western Conference Finals? Both of us, with the playoffs now being set, say yes.
Yep.
Let's talk about this matchup, go a little in-depth with it. Just give me something. Give me something. Don't give me a prediction yet. Just give me something to look for.
7 games, we both know that. No question about it.
What?
7 games, yes.
Okay.
So, basically, we have 2 All-Stars and we have an okay roster. Nothing too special. Be a lot better if we had some defensive guards. A lot better. So, my whole thing is 2 superstars, especially with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. It should be enough to get us over the hump of Kawhi and Paul George.
Okay, so you're just on the superstar platform.
You're saying
you're going to take those 2. You know, not prediction yet, but the 2 Lakers over the 2 Clippers in terms of superstardom.
The reason why is, as good as Paul George is, I think he's going to collapse under pressure because he has never really beaten LeBron James in the East.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, just 2-on-2, you're taking the Lakers, but who has a better supporting cast, in your opinion?
Oh, the Clippers.
Okay. So, all right, so who are you taking?
I'm taking the Lakers.
Okay, you're taking the Lakers. So you're saying that the Lakers' superstardom outweighs the Clippers'
Yeah, that I probably should have explained that a little bit better. I'm saying our cast is great, good. The LA Clippers cast is better, but with 2 of our All-Stars, I feel like they're just better than them.
Okay.
So I think they're going to carry us a little bit more than they need to during that series to get us to the finals.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Did I explain that better?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. I have 7 games as well.
Right.
I have 7 games as well. And part of me knew...
If you didn't, I would question your basketball IQ.
Part of me thought you were going to take the Lakers, of course. Mm-hmm. And so I went with the Clippers. Because why not?
Did you really?
Yeah, just because. And
it's possible.
Oh, of course. And, you know, obviously you've touched on it, and obviously we've touched on it as a whole. Like, this is likely going to be the matchup. Yeah. You know, unless Houston can make a run, unless I don't see any other team making a run outside James Harden getting hot. You know, maybe the Dallas, I don't know. Who knows? Someone might be able to knock off one of the teams early on. The Trailblazers, maybe they can. But the reason I'm taking the Clippers, 1, defense and that mindset that they have. 2, and again, there's 4 mega stars in this game. But Kawhi Leonard, dude, is unbelievable. And I just can see him doing it. I can see him taking out LeBron, taking out AD, and doing it again. And, I mean, he really, really, really showed me something in the playoffs last year. Not only in his matchup with the Sixers, but with the Bucks, and then in the finals. I mean, he is amazing. Time and time again in the playoffs last year, I'm not saying he is, but time and time again last year, I was like, dude, this guy's like the best in the world. Right. Like, I was saying that to myself, and I know you're a big Kawhi fan, but I think even in a playoff series, I think in a set like that, like, the dude is unbelievable.
No question about it. I mean, I've been a Kawhi Leonard fan since the San Diego State days, but the reason I would take the Lakers is because how they're going to dominate. I truly believe Paul George is going to be mediocre. Okay. During this whole series.
Well, yeah, if you that's the key. If you think that, then you know, if you're going to tell me Paul George is going to be mediocre, then I'm going to take the Lakers too. Yeah. And so I think having that mindset in yourself, that's the reason. That's good. Yeah.
And most importantly too is how LeBron leads the Lakers is very much different from how Kawhi would lead the Clippers, because LeBron has such a high basketball IQ to the point where it's actually kind of scary. Because I went back to an interview of Amari Shumpert talking about it. I think he was on like Hot 97 or something, and basically Pete Rosenberg asked him like stuff about Kobe, you know, on the Madison Square Garden. Then he goes to LeBron and he goes, LeBron is arguably one of the greatest chess masters of basketball that I've ever seen. And he talks about a story where him and I think LeBron are on a plane getting ready to go somewhere, and he goes, yo, you need a good night's sleep, and this is how this team's gonna play us. And he goes, how do you know that? And he goes, oh, because I had played against this one coach one time like 4 years ago, and plus he breaks it down in such a way it's kind of amazing. And Amari Shumpert goes, what more can I say? But okay, like, yes sir, I don't know what to say to that. Yeah. And most importantly too, LeBron is, you see him leading out on the team, and what Amari Shumpert says is, you see him out there calling plays and telling players where they need to be and where they need to cut ahead of time. And that's crazy. And with Kawhi, I don't know how he leads. I don't think anybody know how he leads because he's so quiet. So that begs the question: is how is he going to lead them against rallying against the Lakers?
Yeah.
Because you need to speak up a little bit. And I know we make jokes about him not speaking, but this is a real problem. This determines a championship. So, and you're versing probably the greatest of all time, argumentatively.
Yep, arguably the greatest of all time, LeBron, and arguably his best sidekick in AD, right? I mean,
yeah,
you've got guys like Kyrie and
Dwayne,
Dwayne, and I mean, yeah, it's close. I mean, AD's amazing, especially when he's healthy. You can make the argument. Perhaps the most unique one I think that he's had, in just in how versatile he is, compared to guys like Kyrie and K-Love and Bosh and Wade. Yeah,
Alex Caruso.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Why are you laughing then?
Because I did it as a joke, but then I thought about his system.
He can.
Yeah, he can. He's not bad.
He can.
But to touch upon, LeBron hasn't always had great teammates beside Wade, Bosh, and whoever was on that 07.
No one.
Yeah, nobody. But
Big Z.
I think this. Yeah, Augustus was good. But this is his first time that I think he has a decent cast and a number 2 to look towards, and plus. He's got all that experience under his belt. And I think Tom Brady said it best, too, is I have all the answers to the test. Why would I stop taking it now? I think that's LeBron's mindset, too. I know what to do. I played the Clippers before. I know how they're going to play us. But most importantly, I'm going to get underneath Paul George's skin. I think that's the niche that the Lakers should do, especially if I'm the coach of the Lakers. If we could throw him off his game, we're set.
Let me run this by you.
Okay.
Just in terms of LeBron AD.
Is this going to be a hot take?
No.
Oh.
Maybe. Just in terms of where those guys are, and LeBron and his former sidekicks and people that he's played alongside, this might be the first time where LeBron is not absolutely 100% the best player on the team.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think AD is a huge difference maker for LeBron in his career and having him alongside, because they might win in the finals and LeBron might not win the MVP. That's a real possibility because of how good AD is. In years past, it's like, this is LeBron's team. And I think the Lakers are LeBron's team in that sense. But AD is that good where, LeBron could have a Game 7 with the Lakers where he drops 15 points. He might have 15 assists. But, years past in Game 7, LeBron's got to put up 35, 40. Right? This year, he doesn't have to do that.
He doesn't have to, so that's a good thing, is because, people always get it confused in the sense of, again, with the whole stigma of, winning championships. They go, all right, it goes, all right, we need you to be a team player so we can win. You win a championship. You can't do one by yourself. But you just said to win. So it's what do you do as a player?
Yeah.
So in order for us to truly win, and if it does come down to that when it comes to MVP voting, it doesn't matter because the ring's going to help his legacy regardless. And it's not about MVP.
Yeah, because he's going to have a role. He's not going to...
It's not because let's face it, just his namesake alone, in the history books, we'll remember more of LeBron doing more than AD, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even though I don't want to take away from AD because he's so young and we don't know where he's going to go.
Yeah.
But, it's LeBron. We'll always remember him in
Absolutely.
that, 7-game performance or whatever it's going to be.
Absolutely. So, real quick, out of these 4 first-round matchups now, so the Portland Trailblazers are officially in at the 8th seed. Give me what of these 4 matchups, which of these 4 are you most looking forward to? Are you most get your popcorn ready because that could be a good one?
Definitely that Denver and Jazz getting out. The LA and Houston game. Because I really want to see.
No, that's not first round.
Oh, you mean the first round?
Yeah, first round. But yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Honestly, the the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. That game really catches my attention. Even though I know how it's gonna go, I'm just curious to see how they will play each other.
Okay, yeah.
That's what really gets me.
Yeah, that's a good one. The one I have my eye on, the one even picking Thunder Rockets was tough. Thunder are good. That's not the one I've got my eye on, though. The one I'm really looking at, and I think the country's watching, is the Lakers and the Trailblazers. Even though it's a 1-8 matchup, even the Trailblazers, again, they've been in a playoff mindset for 8 games now. They got the hottest player in the league. They got the bubble MVP. We'll see what happens.
Got that back problem,
I'm going to be watching that. Yeah, he does. He does. He's been playing well, though, and we'll see. we'll see how that plays out. Again, I think that's a wrap for today.
It's a buffalo chicken wrap?
It's a buffalo chicken wrap, but be sure to tune in, listen, watch, whatever you're going to do on Monday when our next episode with an Eastern Conference preview drops, and right ahead of the playoffs. I'm excited.
All right, dude. Because you remember how we started talking about this before, like when the NBA was canceled, on how we weren't really thinking this is going to be a good thing. I'm actually really genuinely excited again, like just as a fan. Also, for the audience, remember, hit that like button, please, and share with a friend. It helps us out.
That's right. Yeah, share with a friend. We're excited about what we're doing. We love what we're doing.
Yeah.
We got an episode coming for you in a couple days, Eastern Conference. Look out. We'll give a preview there.
Do you have an overtime segment or no?
I ain't got nothing.
You got nothing?
I ain't got nothing.
I got nothing.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yo, guess what? You just tuned in to an episode of the Baseline FaceTime podcast, making you an official baseliner. We'll see you next time.